I'm really excited with this one. I think you're going to love it. It's the fastest process I found after years of blogging to get a blog with minimal work from yourself without outsourcing the writing, because your words are the best word almost always, and it just works so seamlessly. Google will love it. I'll run you through the formatting to make it super Google friendly, as well as a few other tips and key suggestions along the way. And if you are working with a virtual assistant, share this video with them so they can learn it and you don't even have to train them. It's ready for you as a resource there, and they can understand the process. And it's so good. Honestly, it's just the best way I've found, and it works seamlessly. And it's going to give you a really high quality blog post at the end. So don't overlook that fact. It just works really well. And don't be put off by the time, because this is me explaining it, but you can get it down to half the time that this video, the duration of this video, and you can get faster and faster as you do it and as you start to know what to look for. So think about that as well, and it just gets faster every time you do it. So let's get started and let me show you the full process for writing perfect blog posts with minimal effort, minimal time, and high quality that Google will love. Let's go. Okay, so as you might have noticed, I've got Audacity open here, and what I actually do to start off, and this might sound counterintuitive, is I get some notes, put a little structure down, and then I record it with me narrating it into Audacity. Now, if you don't know, Audacity is a free audio recording software. It's totally open source, is no pay options. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Definitely worth looking into. Now, the reason why I don't use things like voice typing for Google Docs is that it's just not accurate enough, and you'll spend a heck of a lot of time sorting out the punctuation and all the formatting. Whereas with this, what I then do, and let me flick over to my web browser, is I actually go through rev.com. Now, I said not outsourcing, I mean not outsourcing the writing. Okay, so I am still, this is effectively these are my words. So I've recorded the audio, then I upload the file to rev.com, and they do a transcription service. You can see it's $1.25 per minute. Now, if you want to check this out, they don't do affiliates, don't worry, it's nothing related to me, but they do first 10 minutes are free. So if you did it, and you could probably get about 800 to 1,000 words on a 10-minute audio, depending on how fast you speak, but you can get that for free and see how it is. They say it's usually a 12-hour turnaround time. Of late, I've had much less than that. It's usually been within the hour. So I can record, and I'll send them a 10 to 12-minute audio file, and it usually comes back in about 45 minutes, which is amazing, because it takes me 10 minutes to get my whole audio done, send that off, go away, do other stuff, and I can come back. Now, I wouldn't guarantee that it's going to be within the hour for you, but that's what it's been so far for me. So if I just log in, I'll just pause as I go through this. And this is where you see the status of your orders, and I could place new order, transcription. I wouldn't recommend the automated transcription you might have seen there. It's just not as good. It's like AI. And you simply upload your file and you go from there. Okay, I'm not going to go through that right now, but it's really straightforward. And what comes back then, and you can specify the format, is you get a document to download as well as a link to your email. So you then get this, you can listen to your audio, you can also give them a glossary to help them along with it. What I'd say to you as well is that you want to start to speak some of the key formatting. So I've said heading 2, and I'm consistent about that, because then I can find that, or I can tell the virtual assistant who I work with to find it, and they know to look for these keywords. So I say heading 2, heading 3, and it becomes very clear then. You could say bold before the words and start to develop your system, but however you do it, you get much faster as you go. So from here I can see that, and you can see I can download it, and you've got a few options here. Personally, I would go with inline, and I would remove the speaker name, because if you can see in the background, it's got my name everywhere. Kind of annoying, just something to remove. So just take that and export. Columns, I think it puts the timings or the name, whatever it is, in the left-hand column and your text in another. So if that's useful, use that. But personally, I'll just go with these options. And it's downloaded it, or it chooses where to download it, and then I can open that, and I can see this in my Word doc. And all I'm going to do from here once this is opened is then flip it over into Google Doc, because Google Doc is much nicer for transferring into WordPress. And again, you can just train an assistant to do this, but it gets really simple because you can add team members to Rev, they get notified, so you're just really recording the audio and then they take it from there when the audio comes in and do the formatting. Okay, so I've opened this now and I don't even need to enable the editing. I can just press Ctrl and A, copy and paste, and I'd go over into a Google Drive, a Google Doc on my Google Drive. Just a point to note, you see this was 9 minutes and 8 seconds, so I would pay for the 10 minutes then. But if you look down here on Word, it's 1,640 words. So if I'm doing that in less than 10 minutes, and let's say 10-12 minutes in total for taking notes and whatever else, that's super quick, and then I can outsource the rest very cheaply. So it really is such a huge time saver. I can't stress that enough. So I've got that copied, and I'll go into a Word Google Doc. Okay, so I'm now just in my Google Drive area, and I'll just create a new Google Doc, nice and easy. You could also copy from a template, and actually from here I'd recommend giving that a name first, so probably best to copy and paste, but I think I know what it was. I had to get more waves when surfing, and then I could paste it in, and that's in. Now you can see again, Rev, the more you use it as well, you can give them instructions. They've started to do these. So first thing I want to do, remove the full stops from the headings that they've given me, and do that. I don't know, oops, don't know why they've done that. And then I can also, as I'm here, just do this again, give these heading 2, because that's what they will be in WordPress, and you'll see when we get to WordPress, how much better that is. I would like these to be in title case. These should really be, every word should be capitalized except your keywords like at, on, in, and the connectives. But let's say you can actually do that in Microsoft Word if I flick back over and enable editing. But again, it's still, if I delete that, highlight it, Shift and F3, I can scroll through. If I press it enough times, it will do that for me as well. So Shift and F3 every time when highlighted goes through all the cases, so capitals, all lowercase, title case, and back again. So I could have done that there as well to save a bit of time. But yeah, you get the idea here. Just do these. Hopefully you're starting to see though how quickly this is shaping up. I don't actually need to highlight that, but I did it out of habit. Old habits die hard, eh? And let's just get these. Okay, and it's much quicker to do it here than it is in WordPress, because WordPress is just a bit finicky, but it's nice to have it in WordPress, like as in to have all the formatting there. Anyway, and I might, in my formatting style, I would go for these. Now the next thing I would also do at this point is, you don't really want, for good user experience when they're reading the blog, you don't want your paragraphs to be longer than 2 to 3 lines. Now it's a bit hard to see here because when they're on mobile it's very different, but you can see that is one long sentence. So I might need to come back and adjust these later, but just look for a break point that is a natural separation and separate them out. It's totally different to writing, as you would have maybe academically or for work. You're looking for user experience. So if this is condensed down into a small space, you can see how that's going to fill up the screen, and what on here looks like 2 or 3 lines can quickly look like a paragraph to your user on a mobile. So bear that in mind. We don't want to go longer than 2 to 3. And if you've not heard of it, I do follow the Project 24 method, and I can put a link to that below. It's a really good course, really helps with like the content and strategy, and that's where I get all my ideas from as well, how I follow that. I'll put a link, it's an affiliate link, but it would help to support the channel if you want to check it out. Really, really worth it. It's such a great package and course. They've got loads of online courses and a community. But yeah, Project 24, fantastic, really helpful, gives you loads of ideas. Where I was always stuck, it would always give me those ideas, and they give you that strategy, which is what I struggled with before. Now at this point I'm kind of just picking them a little bit at random. I probably want to revisit these a bit, but you know, if you get someone else to do it for you, they can check that. And again, I've got a couple of really long sentences here, so I probably want to break them up. Yeah, okay, we're still going. If you have line breaks in like space between lines, that will give you an empty paragraph with WordPress, which is kind of annoying. So you don't really want that spacing in there. Let's see if I just do that. Now I've still got a little ways to go. I'm going to pause while I do that, and so you don't need to watch it all. I'm just going to space these out and continue in this same way. Okay, so I've been through and done that. Now just a couple of other points. If you start to see, and I'm deliberately speaking in this way when I'm doing the audio, but if you start to see things like this, where I've got repeated points, you can actually then do some nice formatting, things like this. Put them into a bulleted list. Now this kind of looks a bit repetitive maybe, but it really, Google likes that kind of stuff, okay? And maybe in this case that doesn't work that well, but doing that kind of formatting is really helpful. Now if I've got a question, I like to also, in this case for the first question, I would bold the answer. And I just want to check, if I highlight it, my word count, oof, I want that to be under 300, because Google can actually index that as a search result on its own if it's under 300, including the question. I could just get rid of, so to start off, I'll just say to start. And we've got our question with a bolded answer. And if I've got an answer that's longer in total than 300 characters, again, this is more on this in the Project 24 course, but if you've got more than 300 characters, then you want to split that into a paragraph. So let's say if this was too long, I would put a break there just to break it up, so I've got something rather than nothing. Or you could reword it, but either way you start to see how this goes. And then I would going into your keywords, you know, things like this. Easier to paddle means you can get yourself in position for more waves. Okay, just bolding those keywords and go through and do that. And there you go, surfing a big enough board is crucial. All these key points, make it stand out and work through. Again, I'm going to pause as I do that, and let's see if there are any others. Okay, so I've just been through, and you can see I've put, you know, bold on the key points. So if we have a look here, let's say walk a few hundred yards down the beach, get a lot of waves. So do what, and what's the result? Tip and result, and so on. Just trying to focus on that, you know, the really the benefits, all the strong points in there. You can catch some really good waves very consistently. Surfing, people want to catch lots of waves, and just that, you know, more waves to choose from, easier time to catch those waves. So you're really bold in them, making them stand out. Now down here again, the Project 24 method, I'm doing these questions. Now let's just be sure, if I do this, tools, I highlight it, tools and word count, characters is what I'm looking at. Remember, I want to be under 300 including the question. 255, that's okay. However, if you look here, and I can get that word count to display the whole time if I press that, so I can have it over here. If you're going to be doing this a lot, it's nicer to have that. 306 characters now, so I actually want to cut that back a bit. Just get 6 characters, so probably a word or two. Let me just pause that as I do it. Okay, just took out a word as I speak. Sometimes I do overdo it a little bit, and there you go, 288 characters, absolutely fine. And maybe I want to bold a few more of these, but otherwise you might find again that you're looking for, if you can find bullets, you know, opportunities to do the bulleted lists. That might be a bit much, but you can also do numbers up here and so on. All right, so that kind of formatting, Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Google really likes it, and this will now paste perfectly into a WordPress article. Just want to get rid of those last few spaces at the bottom though. Press Ctrl and A, copy, and now I can paste that into WordPress, and I'm going to open WordPress in a second. Okay, so with that on the clipboard, I go to my WordPress login. Just log in as normal, and then we go to new post. Okay, so go to posts, add new. Nice and simple. And this is a website that's about 6 months old, started from complete scratch. You probably saw some other stats. It's growing. It's not really hit yet, but again, that Project 24 method, it's really interesting. It does get you there really fast. Okay, so I just press Ctrl and V to paste that in, and you can see the formatting for the things like the headings come across nicely. If I were to try and do that in here, that could take me a really long time. It's much quicker, as I said, to do it in Google Docs. And then my title, just come back to here, copy and paste, and maybe I want to change that a little bit, but there you go. Now I use categories just to sort. I don't use them for any kind of SEO purposes. I don't bother with tags. They're not really SEO anymore, but all I need to do now is add a couple of images and it's ready to go. So let's do that last bit. So firstly, I would add a featured image. Now you can see I'm in Gutenberg WordPress, and if I scroll down on the left hand side, actually no, I'm in post, right? If I click on a block, that will change to the block menu. So come back to post and I scroll down on the right. Okay, before I go on, let me go, where is it? Okay, I'll just choose my category, and now featured image down here. Okay, so we're just going to click that, and this is then what will show on the you know, if you share it on social media, on the homepage, your WordPress website, or any, just that small image that represents the article. So mine was about catching more waves. So I'm going to now look through my gallery, and I've got a whole bunch of these already loaded. So I would get those. And again, another Project 24 tip. You want to keep it a small file for page load speed to be good. So I'm just going to pause as I find a relevant image. Okay, so I've just scrolled down a little bit. This one I had before from a website called Unsplash, which is a great free resource. Community people put their photos up there, and I've loaded them in, you know, at a fairly small size. So what I generally do is photo credit, and I put the name. So I've saved the name when I downloaded it, Manon Duport on Unsplash, and I can add a, you know, a quick caption. On board. There you go, and that's done, and I can set the featured image. Now you see that appear there, so that's what we'll get on the home page. And I really want to break this up a little bit with either more images, because, you know, a little bit dry, or a YouTube video of some kind. So again, I'm going to pause and I'll have a look through, see what I can find. Okay, I've just got one from memory. You see it says walk down the beach to a quiet peak. Okay, you want an image that really matches what it says. If I put it in the middle, you see this is about that long, so around here. And yeah, let's put that. And you see I just hovered over it, said add block, and I can press image. And I've got a chance to upload a file, media library, or from URL. So I'll just do from my media library. As I said, I had these ready to go. Now, where is that one? I'll save you watching this. Okay, so that was a bit of a hunt for me because mine have all got random names, but let's say I've got an image down here, someone walking down the beach, nice and relevant. I also probably want to put this one in another spot. So if I remember, there's a keyword there. Okay, great. And I can do that. Alt text you probably do want to do, but you don't have to. And I'll put my thing then again, you know, my standard photo credit. I like to give them credit because, you know, at the end of the day, these guys are given free photos. It's pretty amazing. Whatever. Ideally, you want to put your own photos, but if you can't, then use stock images, free ones from Unsplash. Yeah. okay, and maybe I'll just copy that so I've got it for next time. And if I press select, you see it goes into the place I had it. And I could click on it, single click, make it a little bit smaller if I want, but that's there. And else, okay, maybe I'll go for one other, and yeah, maybe I'll put it down here. You know, the placement of your image is really up to you. You could do one to start, but really up to you. And if I press image again, media library, now I've got a search functionality here, and you can see I'm in the media. Again, I could upload from there, but or I can drag and drop in. So if I did upload, you could do it there. If I press media library and search a keyword, and I saw that in the file name, this one I wanted, you see how much quicker that is. So let's say have, okay, so it's Kaspar's Manis, maybe an Indonesian name, not sure. Catching waves on a quiet peak. And there we go. Okay, select that. And maybe I'll change that as well if I need to. And you know what, to make that look a bit nicer, if I press shift and hit enter there, it doesn't line break. I could do the same up here as well. Just do that, looks a bit nicer. And that's it. Maybe I'll find one more YouTube video just to finish it off. Okay, so I just came over to YouTube, did a quick keyword search, and this one looks fine. You know, I could do copy link address, or maybe it's better just to have a quick watch. I know this channel is a really good channel, so I'm happy with that. And I could put that in somewhere in the right spot. Now it could be down the bottom just to give them something else, or it could be, if I look, there'll probably be somewhere in here. Yeah, strategic about maybe paste that in, and I just need to put the URL in, and it should do the rest. Now WordPress is kind of changing, so let's double check. There's a couple of points I need to mention. Actually, I said putting it into a Google Doc is nice for formatting. It's also good to have that backup online in the cloud as well, so it's really helpful in that respect, because what if your WordPress website somehow got corrupted, you lost everything? It's always good to have the copy there as well, just as an extra point. But it does help strip out all the formatting and goes much better into WordPress than if you did it from Microsoft Word directly. Okay, so that's in. I might need to take out the end of that URL. Now we've got to check the preview just to see how it looks, and I would recommend preview on mobile as well. I'm not going to do that right here, but if I press preview, okay, I can do that. You'll see what I mean perhaps. And preview a new tab. Okay, and you see how it looks. And again, as long as it's looking, you know, that it's not too anything too long, that's about as long as you want a paragraph. And these, when you look in here, you know, maybe I could space that line out, put an extra line break in there, because that's kind of looking a bit long to me. Maybe I'll go back and do that, but otherwise then it started to look okay. Maybe make that image a bit smaller, very tall, very long. I could even crop it. So if I go back, and actually don't worry about that point there. We'll scroll down to that image, single click on it. I could do that. It's still very long though, isn't it? If I single click again, crop it. Okay, so it's kind of a little bit misleading here. If I single click, it looks like you can crop it, but it doesn't actually let you. So what I would do is actually replace the image. So I'll just copy and paste the caption, because that would be annoying to have to rewrite that. And I can just remove the block. Seems a bit odd, but it is actually the fastest way to do it. So hover over plus icon, add image, media library, and that was from Kaspar Upmanis. Now this is where I can do that. Edit image over here, and this is where I can actually crop it. And if I click crop, or actually I just want to press that, so I single click over the space and then I'll press crop, And what it does is it actually saves a much smaller image. Maybe I even go for slightly different dimensions, because again, it was very long, wasn't it? And press crop, and I can save that as a new image. That's the way to do it for any of those that look a bit odd, and you can see it's come out there. Fortunately, it's kept the caption this time. I wouldn't always trust it to, but there it is. And I can select that, and just a quick bit of editing within WordPress. Again, that still looks a little bit long, but whatever. At this point, let's get it out. And maybe there was a couple of lines up there where I thought they were too long around here. So I'll just break those up a little bit less dense. Hit enter, just single click. And this one looks a little bit long, doesn't it? I'm just going to pause as I edit that. And actually, the last few points to note, if I do want to change this, maybe I want to make this stand out a little bit, I can also use things like the quote. As we'll see, I'll preview again just to show you how that looks. Just little things like that make it look that bit different. Okay. And if we're just doing a quick scan through, we're looking for things like a bit of variety in formatting, some bolding, nothing too long, and okay, some images throughout. So I'll just hit that save. And then we'll do a last preview. Okay, I'll just preview a new tab. That'll look. Okay, and then let's just have a quick scan through, see how we're doing. Okay, everything looks all right, looks a bit better than before. Nice, got an image not too far down. The video's displaying nicely, that's one to check if you paste in. You know, if it didn't, you could go through the video options in WordPress, but they're pretty straightforward. That looks a bit better. I might want to change the line on that. Otherwise, I'm happy with that. So from there, then the last couple of things to do, if I go back to my preview, and I can actually close that, press save again. I'd always keep hitting save. And if I scroll back up, I can then just check. Let's say, is this the URL slug? So the end of the URL that I want it to be. If there was any extra on the title, I would cut that out. Just stick to the bare part of the URL, and you can see it there. That's fine by me. And if I scroll up, then you can choose the date. So if you're doing this with a virtual assistant, then they'd probably want to set it maybe a week in advance, whenever your scheduling time is, so you get a chance to preview it and, you know, approve it in the first few instances. In this case, because I've done it here, I'm just going to press that. But okay, let's just show you actually. If you did that, and then it becomes schedule. All right, so you can see the date, and then you can share the link with them from here, or they can share the link with you, whichever way it is, and then you can see it in edit mode, or they can preview it. So that is your two options really. You could do pending review. I don't really use that. Draft or scheduled draft is fine by me. However, if I did want to change that, I just bring it back, and again, that is the time just a minute ago. If I press publish, I go through these final checks. Now Yoast SEO I wouldn't particularly recommend, to be honest, but anyway, that's another day. And I just minimize that. If you're happy, press publish, and you see down here it's a bit small, it says view post. I can also view post in here as well, and in this case I can do another video on one signal, but I'm using that for the notifications. Got 48 recipients, so you want to make sure it's good the first time. And if I press view post, I just press control and click on that, opens in a new tab. I just get to see then what's gone out live, so we know that's gone out live. That's fine, and I've already seen that. If I went back to the website, the domain, and there it is again. Okay, so you see my featured image and there, along with my other articles. And there you go. Now remember, as I said, check out other videos on the channel if you found that helpful. Also, Project 24, highly recommend it. I am an affiliate, so it does give me a commission if you decide to join, but I strongly recommend it. I'm in there as a paying member. It's brilliant. They're updating it all the time. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. And yeah, it just gives you a really good start. So do check that out. And I'll see you in another video soon. Hope you found that useful, and thank you for watching. Enjoy. Happy blogging.